All right, next topic. So how will RG3 fare in D.C.? Even though Indy has left the door open that they still may draft RG3 over Andrew Luck, the conventional wisdom is that RG3 will slip to Washington at number 2. Washington, Donovan, a place you know, coached by a man you know, Mike Shanahan. Is he a good fit for RG3?
No.
Ooh, no. Wow.
I say that because a lot of times ego gets too involved when it comes to being in Washington. Here's a guy who's coming out who's very talented, mobile, strong arm. We've already heard he's intelligent, football mind. Are you going to cater the offense around his talent and what he's able to do? Or are you going to bring the Houston offense with Matt Schaub over to him and have him kind of be embedded in that whole
Try to plug him into the system.
And you're referring to Kyle Shanahan's offense.
Yeah, in Kyle Shanahan's offense.
Right.
We talk so much about Mike Shanahan and the things that he was able to do in Denver.
Right.
Well, I have a couple names for you that Mike Shanahan, quarterbacks he's coached, and the lack of success that he's had.
Okay.
Okay, we have John Beck, who was 0-4. Rex Grossman, 6-11. Jay Cutler, who was his prized possession, 17-20.
Wow.
Jake Plummer, a guy who had success, led him to the AFC Championship against Pittsburgh, as we know.
Right.
And then benched him the next year because he wouldn't do what he wanted him to do, pretty much. Brian Greasy, who was supposed to be the heir apparent to John Elway.
Was.
And hasn't had a lot of success. Now, when you talk about RG3, you talk about his ability, you talk about how smart he is, you talk about his arm strength. What type of offense do you run with him? Or is it the spread offense that you try to continue to flourish that he's been successful in?
Yeah.
Or are you going to just have him in a foxhole with a makeshift offensive line? You keep bringing in receivers. You have a solid tight end in Fred Davis.
Right.
That you need to feature. What are we going to see? I don't think it's a great fit. I think the D.C. Fan base will support RG3 because they love the acquisition. They think he'll be good for not just the D.C. area, but the DMV, as they call it.
Yeah.
But if this doesn't work this year, we don't see a splash like a Cam Newton splash. This could be it.
Okay, we have to ask, do you have an axe to grind because of the way you were treated in Washington?
You know what? I do, but I don't. The whole deal about it is, we hear so much about players who move on somewhere, how the next year would be a lot better. Give him a chance to learn the offense and understand what we do. Give him a chance to kind of get his feet up under him, get adjusted to the guys. I never got that chance.
Right.
And a lot of people haven't. I mean, Rex has been there. Rex has been under this system, being in Houston. John Beck was supposed to be the guy who he thought was a quality quarterback. He only played him for 4 games.
Right.
And then he was benched. The list goes on. Jake Plummer, has sour feelings about the whole situation he was a part of.
So given how bad it went with you, though, are you truly qualified to say, and by qualified, I simply mean because it was such a bad experience, that RG3 would not be a good fit? Maybe it was just you weren't a good fit.
No, well, I just went over 4 quarterbacks besides me.
But Cutler's pretty good, you know what I'm saying? And you mentioned Jake Plummer went to the AFC title game. John Beck, Rex Grossman, they're not in your league. They're not in RG3's league.
Right.
So I'm saying, if I look at it, I see a guy who's got mobility.
You're only as good as the guys around you. And also, you have to be in a system that's catered to your ability. That's what we hear in Denver. We're going to cater this offense around Peyton Manning and what he knows.
Right.
But you don't hear that from a lot of different teams. No, you don't hear that from a lot of different teams.
Talents similar to young Donovan's talents coming out of Syracuse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So did they misuse you in Washington? Did they force square peg into round hole?
I was misused, absolutely. Yeah. I was misused.
Scary. Okay, I want to make it clear. I'm not a newcomer here to the RG3 bandwagon. I think I helped start it rolling about 2.5, 3 months ago. So I'm not a latecomer. I love this kid.
Right.
And yet, I must say, I've had these fears, these nagging fears about him going to Shanahan for all the reasons you just detailed. I'm hanging on to Jay Cutler. Now, he did go to my school, Vanderbilt, but he was a baby when Shanahan got him, just the way RG3 is going to be a baby. In fact, Jay had played a lot more football. RG3 is a little bit of a late bloomer. He had an injury year. And Jay Cutler was the SEC Player of the Year. So he's playing a big-time schedule and playing a whole lot of SEC football for 4 years.
With not marquee talent around him.
Nope.
Right.
So, but he was new, obviously, to the NFL, and Shanahan could mold him. And I thought Jay did a lot of really good things under Shanahan. They just didn't win games.
Well, isn't Jay, though, more the fit for what it is that he likes to do, what Shanahan likes to do?
A lot of rollouts, a lot of boot action.
I mean, where you and RG3 aren't necessarily that same guy.
No,
we're not that same. He's a pocket passer.
Yeah.
RG3 is a pocket passer who
First
can
and
make
foremost.
plays
Yep.
with his legs.
Right.
Now, I think a lot of times we overlook that because of the ability, athletic ability that he has.
Because he
Well,
can.
automatically, he's a bootleg guy,
Sure, right.
get out of the pocket. I think he's a pocket passer first, 3-step, 5-step, 7-step
Right.
kind of guy. We've seen that in his workout. He has the ability to be in the shotgun where he can see the field, peruse the field, read over the defense, get the ball out of his hands. He does a great job of taking care of the football, which is the most important thing. But you have to be in an offense where I think it's catered to your ability, not trying to mold you into something that you're really not.
My question
real
is,
talk.
wasn't Jay more suited to Shanahan's system
Jay
than
also
RG3
had
will be?
Brandon Marshall.
He did.
Wait.
Yeah.
And by the way, Jay could run for his size.
Real talk here for a second, all right? Is your issue with the hierarchy in Washington Mike Shanahan or Kyle Shanahan as it relates to this? Because
I have no issues with. There's no personal issues.
no, not personal. No,
here,
and I'm not,
but I'm just
and
calling
you're
it the way
objective.
I see
you
it.
called it the way you see it. You saw it up close and personal, which none of us
Absolutely.
did. I respect where you're coming
Absolutely.
from, but that's what I'm trying to get at, though. You mentioned off the top that Eagles can get in the way
Absolutely.
in Washington. You had been a 4 or 5-time NFC Championship game, one Super Bowl quarterback, had been in Pro Bowls. You come in having done things a certain way.
Right.
And you got a young guy, Kyle Shanahan, who hadn't done anything as the offensive coordinator, trying to fit you into his offense, if I'm following you right.
You're right.
So I'm saying, could there be a difference with RG3 coming in and being not having accomplished what you had accomplished going
No,
in
the
there?
difference with RG3 and when I came into Philadelphia with Andy Reid,
Okay.
it was catered around my ability. He had just come from Brett Favre. They obviously changed the offense with a suitor for Brett Favre. They knew he was a gunslinger, try to fit it in different positions. That was not me. So that wasn't force-fed to me.
Okay.
Now, are they going to force-feed RG3 like they did with Jay Cutler? The whole deal with Jay Cutler was it was run first, then we pass.
Mm-hmm.
We all know in the Washington series, it's pass first, then we run.
True.
So he's a great passer, pocket pass. He's accurate. He gets the ball out, whatever you want to call it. But the whole deal about it, you're only as good as your run game and the players on the outside around you.
If they're smart, they'll listen to you. They gave up enough to build it around him.
Well, that's my point. But now you don't have a lot of picks because of it.
Right.
So now is it free agency? What is it going to be to help A? Because the seat's getting hotter in Washington.
Without knowing all the inside that
The
you do,
seat
I
is
thought he
getting
was a
hot to
perfect
watch.
fit.
Yep.
Given the mobility, the boot action, I thought he was perfect.
Here's
for
what I'm
Washington.
hanging on to. Mike Shanahan is in grave danger of losing his genius card this year. If he hasn't already, and that genius card was won for him once upon a time by Terrell Davis, the 6th-round draft pick. Not John Elway. Terrell Davis changed life in Denver for 2 Super Bowls at the end of Elway's career, 38 and 39 years of age.
Right.
Okay, he's still hanging on to that by a thread. But next year, this kid, he has to make him a success, or he's going to be in trouble. He's going to get fired.
He only
for
gets
one
one
thing.
year with him to make him a
Well,
success?
I'm just saying, you better get it off on the right foot. You better not ruin him, because you're suggesting the kid could be ruined in the first year, right?
Not the first year, but how long does he have with RG3? The seat is hot right now where if it's not like a Cam Newton year,
Right.
at least great flashes, then somebody's got to go and watch.
I'll just say one quick thing about Shanahan's body of work since those Super Bowls. You definitely need to distinguish between Mike Shanahan, the coach, and Mike Shanahan, the personnel evaluator, and the guy that built teams.
Right.
There's a difference.
Yeah,